Struggling with job layoff anxiety? Here's what you need to do. If you think layoffs are imminent at your workplace, don't freeze. Act, says one career strategist. Carrie Hannon, senior columnist, February 22nd, 2025. Millions of workers are grappling with job layoff jitters. More than 8 in 10 workers are worried about losing their jobs this year, according to a recent My Perfect Resume survey. They aren't wrong to be edgy. Roughly 4 in 10 companies worldwide expect to reduce their workforces over the next 5 years, according to a report from the World Economic Forum. Many large corporations have already announced or kicked off a round of layoffs, including Chevron, CNN, Estee Lauder, Meta, and Southwest Airlines. And that, of course, doesn't count the thousands of workers terminated under Elon Musk's campaign to reduce the federal workforce. Quote, the current job landscape is a minefield with layoffs detonating left and right, unquote, Nancy Ankowitz, a career strategist, told Yahoo Finance. Quote, professionals are feeling the squeeze, some frantically trying to prove their worth, others paralyzed by uncertainty. For employees watching colleagues get laid off and seeing daily news of job cuts, it's as if the ceiling is lowering, the floor is rising, and the walls are closing in on their own job security, unquote. Last week, for instance, Meta employees vented on LinkedIn they're shocked at being sacked. Kayla Curry, a former content manager at Meta, wrote, quote, today, I was impacted by Meta's layoffs. At first, I hesitated to share this. I didn't want to be labeled a low performer. But after reflecting, I know any future employer can see through the corporate facade. This wasn't about performance. It was about workforce reduction in favor of AI initiatives, unquote. Curry didn't see it coming. Quote, I received an exceeds expectations rating in my mid-year review and navigated a whirlwind of 5 managers and 2 reorgs in just 1 year. I frequently asked for feedback and was always told I was doing a good job, unquote. Quote, fear of being next to lose your job can overshadow daily work, reducing motivation and engagement, unquote. Jennifer Moss, author of Why Are We Here? Creating a Work Culture Everyone Wants, told me. To navigate this landscape rife with layoffs, here are moves to make right now to help you hit the ground running if you do lose your job. 5 ways to proactively brace for a job loss. Pump up your emergency fund. If you're on a payroll right now, use this time to cut back on your spending and sock away savings in a high-yield savings account that serves as an emergency fund. Ideally, you want this account to cover at least 6 months of living expenses. If you can set aside a year's worth, do it. Here's why. Landing a new job can take far more time than you imagine it will. The median length of time spent unemployed after losing a position was around 10 weeks in January, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The average time it took to land a new position, 20 weeks. Practice self-care, quote, work insecurity is a major issue these days, unquote, Dorian Mincer, an executive coach, told Yahoo Finance, quote, feeling powerless is a terrible feeling, often paralyzing people, unquote. Your self-esteem might be at a low point, too, influenced by the work culture around you and perhaps low morale of others, she said. Self-care during these difficult times is a must, Mincer added. Quote, it can take the form of meditation, exercise, a walk during the day for some light, and being out in nature. It can help to keep a journal as a way to express and contain your feelings, unquote. Mind the job search basics. Benjamin Franklin's advice pops into my mind, quote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail, unquote. Lay some groundwork so you can move swiftly if you do get that dreaded email announcing that you're out. In fact, when your job footing is precarious, these practical steps give you a sense of power and a jump on what may come. I always say networking is 1 letter away from not working, so start with that. Quote, if you're facing imminent layoffs, don't freeze, act, unquote, Ankowitz said. Quote, reach out to former colleagues, bosses, and friends and network. Be transparent about your situation, but highlight what you can offer. Use LinkedIn and industry forums to connect with peers. Attend events to expand your circle, unquote. and polish your resume and online profile so you'll be ready to roll. Writing a resume, if you haven't done one in a long time, can be daunting, but it's crucial. Your resume and LinkedIn profile are your calling cards and your sizzle reels. Other moves that will help in a job search and, frankly, in your current position include adding to your skill set and even exploring a side hustle. One big caveat: some of these actions, admittedly, are tricky to do while you're still on the job, so it's a delicate dance. Mentally prepare for the possibility of a step down, even a temporary one. As businesses have targeted white-collar middle management for layoffs and budget cuts, more managers are having to take a pay cut or step down in level as they get a new job, according to Daniel Zhao, lead economist at Glassdoor. Nearly a quarter of managers who switched employers in 2024 saw a pay drop, and this was even more severe for former managers who have had to make the switch to a non-manager job, per Zhao. Almost 1 in 3 managers who switched to a non-manager job at a new employer saw their pay decline. Have a plan B. Quote, everyone needs a plan B, even if you're not worried about being targeted in a layoff, unquote, Beverly Jones, a career coach with Clearways Consulting in Washington, D.C., advised. Quote, even if you have a great job, you should always be thinking of what you might do if you lose your job or want to quit tomorrow. The things you do to support Plan B. Networking, learning new things, following and adapting to new trends will, at the same time, all enhance your current gig, unquote. How one woman is facing the battlefield. Tally Eichner, 22, a retail sales associate, has spent nearly 3 years working at a clothing store in Denver, but she's rattled. Since January, her employer has been reducing hours for its retail store staff. Quote, it's like a battlefield between employees who can get hours, unquote, she said. Quote, a lot of my colleagues are feeling that stress too. To be treated like this is a little bit unnerving, unquote. To keep calm and focused on the future, she decided to add to her wheelhouse. Quote, I just finished a free project management certificate program through Coursera, unquote, she told me. Quote, it's a career path I want to pursue, and I have the organization, attention to detail, and scheduling skills for that kind of work, unquote. She launched a job search, and with her income slash, she's been pulling in supplemental pay by house sitting and pet sitting. Quote, I do love that, unquote, she added. Carrie Hannon is a senior columnist at Yahoo Finance. She is a career and retirement strategist and the author of 14 books, including In Control at 50, How to Succeed in the New World of Work, and Never Too Old to Get Rich. Follow her on Blue Sky.